You are using tools your grandfather would recognize. Everyone else moved on years ago, while you kept doing one job twice. We hunted down 35 new tools on Amazon genuinely worth buying, most costing less than one mistake they prevent, and it only gets better from here. Number 1 gives your phone the ability to see heat. Sparks arc off a seized bolt, and roughly 15 seconds later, the bolt is gone, cut by something you hold like a pen. This 3-inch cordless mini grinder spins a brushless motor to around 19,000 RPM, slicing rebar, tile, bolts, and thin steel from inside spaces. A full-size angle grinder physically cannot enter. Variable speed handles polishing as comfortably as cutting. The battery swaps out in seconds, and the guard keeps sparks pointed safely away. 70 or so, and a seized fastener drops from a 2-hour ordeal to a minor inconvenience. 11 at night, a soft tire, and every station airline broken or occupied. That is a uniquely modern helplessness. The Fanttik X8 Apex solves it from your trunk. Set the target pressure, press once, and it inflates to that exact figure, then shuts off. It reaches 150 psi, fills a car tire in a couple of minutes, and handles bikes, motorcycles, and sports balls with the included nozzles. 80ish buys a digital display, a built-in light, and a cordless battery, so nobody else is involved. The sharpest thing in most workshops costs pennies, and Gerber built a pocket knife around it. The EAB Lite folds a standard utility blade into a stainless steel body about the length of a matchbook, with a money clip that doubles as a pocket hook so it rides flat all day. When the edge dulls, you sharpen nothing. You flip in the spare stored inside and start again. For barely more than lunch money, a knife that is permanently brand new. Holding a flashlight in your teeth while both hands wrestle a bracket is a rite of passage nobody enjoys. These rechargeable COB work lights end it with a magnetic base and a folding hook, so the light clamps to a hood, a sink cabinet, or a tent pole and stays put. Each panel gives a wide flood and a focused spot with adjustable brightness, shrugs off water and dust, and recharges over USB. $20 for the pair, and nobody ever works blind inside a cabinet again. What happens when a screwdriver is finally given a screen? The HOTO PixelDrive answers with a pixel display on the body showing torque, direction, and battery as animated icons that are honestly fun to watch and useful mid-repair. Underneath the charm sits a serious tool, adjustable torque, so a delicate laptop hinge, and a heavy furniture bolt. Each receive the right force, an electric mode for speed, and a manual mode for the final careful turn. It grips a screw magnetically, so nothing drops inside the laptop you just opened. $50-something, and furniture and electronics both surrender. 4 different screw heads in one repair, and the right driver is always 2 floors away. 11 tools nest inside a single cushion grip handle. 8 driver tips covering Phillips, slotted, square, and Torx, plus 3 nut driver sizes hidden in the shaft itself. Every bit stores inside the handle, so nothing gets abandoned on a roof or under a car. $20 or so, and electricians have carried this exact shape for decades, which shows the day you drop it off a ladder, pick it up, and keep working. A car battery rarely dies politely. It works perfectly on Thursday and strands you on Friday morning. The ANCEL BA1001 clips onto the terminals and reads what is actually happening inside: cranking health, charging system voltage, and true cold cranking amps from 100 to 2000. Half a minute later, you know whether that battery is healthy, fading, or finished on flooded AGM and gel types alike. Around $30, and the guessing that ends in a tow truck simply stops. Glue starts setting the second it touches wood, and you only have 2 hands. IRWIN's Quick Grip Mini Bar clamps close with a single trigger squeeze, so one hand holds the joint together while the other locks it down. Each applies around 100 pounds through pads that will not bruise softwood, and the jaws reverse into a spreader. 30-ish for all 6, so every joint gets pressure at once and the assembly dries dead square. Stay for number 3 because it reaches 450 degrees. Loosening a bolt in a tight bracket usually means the same joyless loop: quarter turn, lift, reseat, repeat. This 12-piece gear wrench set kills that loop with a ratcheting box end, needing only 5 degrees of swing to keep turning. Sizes run 8 through 19 millimeters. The open end stays conventional for speed, and the chrome finish wipes clean of oil. Priced near $90, and jobs that once burned 15 frustrating minutes now finish in 3. How do you prove a wire is dead without ever touching it? Klein's NCVT3P senses alternating current straight through insulation, glowing green when the line is clear and flashing red with an alarm the moment voltage is present. A bright LED flashlight lives in the same barrel, which matters when the breaker you switched off also killed the lights. $30-something, and it survives a 6-foot drop because confidence near live circuits cannot be guesswork. Where exactly do you cut plywood when the garage is also a parking spot? The WORX Pegasus folds flat enough to hang on a wall, then opens in seconds into either a work table rated for 300 pounds or a sawhorse rated for 1,000. Clamps and bench dogs drop into the slotted top to lock odd-shaped pieces down. Circling the $100 mark and weighing under 30 pounds, it follows the job outside and vanishes. Corners in real houses are rarely a true 90 degrees, which is why trim always seems to fit until the moment you nail it. The GemRed digital protractor reads the true angle to 1/10 of a degree on a backlit screen, then holds it while you walk to the saw. Have that number for a perfect miter. Stainless arms lock at any position, and the display reverses so digits never sit upside down. Around 35, and crown molding loses every bit of its terror. There is a very specific misery in owning 9 tools and needing the 10th. This CRAFTSMAN 135-piece set closes that gap in one box. 1/4 inch and 3/8 ratchets with 72 tooth heads, sockets in both standards, deep and shallow, plus hex keys and driver bits. Everything sits in a molded case that shows at a single glance exactly what is missing before you drive anywhere to start the job. Somewhere near 80, a drawer of random wrenches becomes an actual toolkit. From the outside, a dead outlet, a flat battery, and a failed appliance look completely identical. The KAIWEETS HT18A turns that mystery into a number. True RMS readings on a 6,000 count backlit screen. Auto ranging so you never select the wrong scale, plus continuity, capacitance, frequency, and temperature modes. It carries a Cat 3 600V safety rating and hangs from a magnet, leaving both of your hands available inside a panel. $40, and you stop throwing money at parts that were working fine all along. A board that slides mid-cut ruins the cut, and 2 hands alone cannot pin it down. For $90-something, the Yost 445 bolts 4.5 inches of cast iron to your bench with a swivel base that rotates a full 360 degrees, so tricky angles come to you. Built-in pipe jaws grip round stock securely, and a small anvil face on the back takes hammering. Sawing, filing, and glue-ups feel effortless because the workpiece has stopped fighting you back. Lug nuts tightened by feel are either dangerously loose or quietly warping your brake rotors, and you will not know which until something goes wrong at speed. The EPAuto 1/2-inch click wrench ends that argument. Dial anywhere from 10 to 150 foot-pounds, pull smoothly, and it clicks the instant you hit the number. A dual scale window reads metric and imperial together, and it reverses for left-hand threads. For a mid-30s price, every wheel then holds with the certainty of a factory build. Modern electronics are sealed with screws designed specifically to keep you out. Pentalobe, tri-point, security, Torx. The iFixit Mako replies with 64 precision bits covering almost everyone, driven by a swivel top that lets one fingertip steer while the other hand turns. The magnetized bits sit in a folding case that stands upright so nothing rolls away. For under $40, repairs that once ended at a warranty counter now finish quietly on your own kitchen table. Strip a wire with a blade and you nick the copper. Use the wrong notch and you shave off half the strands. IRWIN's self-adjusting strippers simply do not care what gauge you feed them. Squeeze once and the jaws clamp automatically, cut only the insulation, and pull it away clean in a single motion. A tension dial fine tunes the grip, and a crimper lives in the same handle. under $30, and a whole circuit gets wired in half the time. Dragging a corded sander around a project is a small war with the cord until the cord disappears. DEWALT's cordless orbital sander reaches 12,000 orbits a minute, adjustable, so veneer and thick old paint each get the pace they need. The low-profile grip stays controllable one-handed, and the dust port and bag keep the mess out of the air. 150-ish, and furniture goes glass smooth with nothing at all to trip over. Halfway up a ladder is the worst moment to discover the right socket is on the floor. Wera's tool check, plus folds a whole fastening kit into a case barely larger than a phone. Inside sit 39 pieces, a fine-tooth mini ratchet that turns in tiny swings, real quarter-inch sockets, a craft-form bit-holding driver, and bitorsion bits engineered to flex under load rather than snap. Color coding makes the right size jump out instantly. A shade past 100 and everybody leans in the moment you open it. Stuck axle deep in mud 20 miles from town, a shovel in the trunk stops being optional. 35 or thereabouts, Rhino USA's folding shovel unfolds from a brick-sized pouch into a real digging tool with a serrated edge for roots and a pick on the reverse for frozen ground. Heat-treated steel absorbs the abuse, and the handle locks at 90 degrees for hoeing. It lives under a seat for years, then earns that in a single afternoon. Drill stall halfway through a 4-inch deck screw, then strip the head trying to finish. An impact driver never argues. This DEWALT 20V model produces roughly 88 25-inch pounds of rotational force in fast concussive bursts, sinking long fasteners into stubborn timber while your wrist stays out of it. 3 LEDs ring the nose so the screw stays lit inside a dark cabinet and the body works between joists. Around 150 and a weekend deck finishes before lunch. Stretch a tape measure across a long hallway alone and the number is always a guess. The Bosch Blaze Pro measures up to 165 feet by laser, accurate to about a 1/16 of an inch from wherever you stand. One press, one number, then let it calculate area and volume, add measurements, or work out the height of something out of reach. Readings store in memory, so you can walk an entire house and write nothing down. Roughly 100, and quoting a whole job takes minutes. Grout wins every time because it can outlast any human on their knees with a brush. The HOTO flexi hands that fight to a motor instead. Its high-torque head spins through soap scum, limescale, and grease while you apply hardly any pressure. The shaft extends to reach shower ceilings and floors, and the head angles behind taps and around the toilet base. 8 brush heads cover glass, tile, and grout. A display shows speed and battery, and the waterproof body ignores splashes. Under 100, an hour of dread becomes 10 satisfying minutes. Most stud finders offer a beep and a rough guess, which is how walls end up looking like Swiss cheese. The Franklin Pro Sensor 710 fires 13 sensors at once and lights up the entire width of the stud in a single press, so calibration becomes unnecessary, sliding disappears, and phantom edges vanish. It reads through drywall an 1.5 inches deep and shows the true center immediately. $50-ish turns hanging a heavy mirror from an act of faith into a measurement. 40 minutes of cranking a ratchet in a cramped engine bay leaves your knuckles raw. A brushless electric ratchet ends that in seconds. It spins fasteners loose at speed, then delivers around 60 foot-pounds when a bolt decides to fight back. The slim head slides into gaps a drill could never enter, and the included extension bar reaches deeper still. Around $80, and bolts that once ate an afternoon come out before your coffee cools. Drill a cabinet handle a millimeter off and it looks wrong forever, which happens in the second a bit wanders off your mark. The Saker 4-in-1 positioning ruler deletes that second entirely. It is an aluminum T-square with sliding lockable stops, so once you set the spacing for the first door, every other door gets identical holes without measuring again. Twin bubble levels keep it true on walls that are not, and the scale carries both measuring standards. For roughly $40, hinges and handles line up like a machine placed them. Open any drawer in any house, and the drill is the tool with the worn-out grip. DEWALT's 20V brushless drill driver delivers around 500 unit watts from a body just over 6 inches long, short enough to fit between studs, yet strong enough to bore through stacked joists. Brushless means it runs cooler and squeezes far more work from every charge, while a 15-position clutch stops you burying screws in soft pine. 2 batteries, a charger, and a bag come in the box at roughly $150, and it outlasts a decade. A check engine light is the most expensive question mark on any dashboard. Blue Driver plugs into the port beneath the wheel and talks to your phone over Bluetooth, pulling not just generic codes, but manufacturer-specific data from ABS, airbags, and transmission. Then the clever part, it builds a repair report from a database of verified fixes, ranked by what actually solved that code on that model. Live sensor data streams as you drive, and you can clear the light yourself. Roughly 1 garage diagnostic, paid once. A spirit level describes 12 inches of your wall. This describes the entire room at once. The KAIWEETS KT360A projects 3 full 360-degree green laser planes at once, wrapping level and plumb lines around every surface, including floor and ceiling. It self-levels and locks out if knocked, so a bumped tripod cannot ruin an afternoon of tiling. Green reads far brighter to the human eye than red, and the magnetic bracket clamps almost anywhere. Around 120, and every line agrees. Switch it on, hold it like a pen, and watch it carve your name into glass. The Hardell Mini Cordless Rotary Tool spins up to 18,000 RPM with variable speed control, and the 69 included accessories mean it carves wood, engraves glass, polishes metal, sharpens blades, cuts through bolts, and cleans up rough edges without ever changing tools. It charges over USB-C and runs long enough that a cord never decides where you work. Just over 30, and 6 separate tools leave the drawer because this one takes their jobs. Something small and metal just dropped into the engine bay and vanished completely. A dual lens inspection camera finds it in seconds. The Teslong NTS 300 pairs a 5-inch screen with a semi-rigid probe slim enough to slit through a spark plug hole, using a front camera to look ahead and a side camera to scan cylinder walls, switchable with one button. Adjustable LEDs light the darkness, the probe is waterproof, and it records photos and video of everything it sees. Near 100, and drains, wall cavities, and gearboxes stop hiding anything from you. Toy-sized, plastic-bodied, and entirely harmless looking, right up until it starts pushing air out at 450 degrees Celsius. The Yzoni Mini Heat Gun runs 350 watts across 2 temperature settings, shrinking tubing tight around wiring in about a second, softening old adhesive, lifting stubborn stickers off glass without solvent, and popping every last bubble out of a fresh resin pour. A reflector nozzle focuses the stream, the pencil grip gives control, and overheat protection stops it cooking itself. Barely $30, it hides in a drawer and makes every messy job look professionally finished. A chainsaw that fits in a jacket pocket sounds like a joke until one drops a branch thicker than your arm. The Nordic Pocket Saw weighs about 32 grams, a bi-directional chain with teeth on both faces and 2 nylon handles rolled into a pouch the size of a wallet. Loop it over a limb, pull hand over hand, and it eats through wood faster than any folding saw. Made in Sweden, priced around $40, and tested beyond what a person can generate, it turns a fallen tree into a 10-minute problem. Your phone can see heat now, and what it reveals is honestly unsettling. Past 200, the Inflator P2 Pro plugs into a USB-C port and turns the screen into a 256x92 thermal camera. Drafty windows glow blue, overloaded wiring glows red, and radiant floor heating pipes appear straight through solid tile. A magnetic macro lens even reads hotspots on individual circuit board components. It is the priciest tool here, and the only one that shows you the invisible. 35 tools that genuinely earn their place in a toolbox. If one of them saves you an afternoon, drop a like, subscribe for the next batch, and tell me which one you are buying first.